Hey guys, how's it going and welcome back. So today we have the INDMEM or INDMEM, I don't know how you pronounce it. Anyways, it's a Thunderbolt case. So currently I have a 1 terabyte NVMe drive sitting in a Sabrent USB 3.2 case, and well, the speeds we're getting are not the greatest, obviously. So we're looking at a write speed of 808 and a read speed is 835.3 and the write is 808. And I've been itching for a Thunderbolt case for a while, and even though this is still not a powered case because I just can't really afford one, not at this point in time, I did get an unpowered one, and I thought, okay, well, let's give that a shot. According to the Amazon reviews, which there are not many on this drive, but everybody that posted pics showed it, of course, on a Macintosh system, that their drive was having no problem getting over 3,000 plus megabits per second. So I was like, okay, well, that's kind of cool. And if I get that out of the drive, well, then at least I'm getting my drive to the proper speed specs, which also means it's going to run a lot cooler because it's not being starved. So this is our case here. Looks kind of cool, and we do have a screw on the bottom. They do give us a screwdriver, but and we also get some silicon heat stuff, but probably not going to use that. Some people have used that and have mentioned that their drive is running at much hotter temperature, so we're likely not going to bother with that at all. And we do have a screw inside. Good. Just hoping for that. Okay, so let me eject this drive here. So we're going to quit, and we'll eject the drive because we need to get it off the computer. And we'll show you the inside of this case here. Okay, so what we want to do is take that and put it over there. Now I do like the fact that this is a toolless case that we got from Sabrent. And we just simply pop this in. Now this is an NVMe M.2, so these are pretty simple to install. I normally would not have bought something with as little reviews as there is, but when you think about the cost of things, you know, things can get a little pricey, right? And this was over $100 and some, so it wasn't exactly cheap. In fact, if you give me a quick second here, I'll fire up my browser. And I'll tell you exactly what I paid for this thing. So for this was $119.99, and there's only 8 ratings. One guy actually crabbed because he thought it said 8 terabytes somewhere, and it's like, no, it clearly does say 2 terabyte. But whatever, that was his only complaint. But it does use the M key and the B and M key NVMe SSD drives. The M key only are the faster ones, obviously, so no big deal there. But yeah, for 120 bucks, I thought, well, it says Thunderbolt 4.0. You know, let's see what it actually does. Like I said, I'm not going to use the heat stuff. Only because, yeah, it's usually not a good idea to suffocate stuff. You need some airflow there, so I don't bother using them. Even the one that's actually built into this case here, it doesn't even come into physical contact with my drive, so it's kind of pointless to have it. So, but whatever. Okay, so let's get our Thunderbolt cable plugged in. So, I do appreciate they put a little bit of a longer cable on this compared to the Sabrins. Sabrins come with a very short cable. Now, being we can only go to a 2 terabyte drive, that doesn't bother me at all. Okay, so now it's up. So let's pop this up. And we'll go to disk speed test. And we're going to do a 5 gigabit or gigabyte load test. But we can do a 1 as well and see what the difference is. But select drive. HD 1 terabyte. Now you do have to have free hard drive or free SSD space for this thing to do its thing, because it writes a temporary file to the drive. (1409.4) write, 2761.6 read, 1337.5 write, 2761.7, 1326.9, 2767.4. That's pretty impressive. That's not quite to full specs on the write side, but it's really close on the read side. So that's definitely encouraging. Mind you, disk speed test does show a little bit slower speed. I would like to also test this on our PC as well, because disk crystal speed test shows different results as well. But let's go to a 1 gigabit stress test and see what the difference is. So we're at 1318.8, 2759.1, 1337.4, 2779, 1311.4, 1338.6, 2784.6, 1363.5. So pretty good. And the only thing we're getting a knock on at all is at 12K DCI 60 on the ProRes write speed. It just doesn't have enough poop for it. But everything else it passes with flying colors. So I'm going to call that a definite win. You know, that's actually doing really good there. So I'm happy with that. That seems to be doing good. So the next thing we want to do, of course, is to test this on the Windows side, because I did, if I remember correctly, I'm pretty sure I formatted this drive for both PC and for Mac, so exFAT. So we'll eject the drive off of here. And unplug. And I do have a Thunderbolt port on my PC as well. Number two. Okay, my mouse is not functioning. Why? There we go. Flip the screen. There we go. Now it's working. Alright, so Crystal Disk Mark. This is going to start out at a 1 gig test. This should actually be, yep, our E drive, which, just to verify, I know it sees it there, but we've got to make sure it sees it everywhere. And yes, it does. So E is what we want. And let's see what she pulls on this one. This does a total of 5 tests, so it should be interesting to see what the difference is, how well it works. So far, I'm not entirely impressed with the read speed on the PC. So anyways, if you haven't caught the other videos, this Asus Tough computer got upgraded to 64 gigabytes of RAM today, and my little HP 14-inch got upgraded to 32 gigs. So I should be definitely maxed for RAM as far as my Asus Tough goes at 64 gig, because Asus did say 32, and Well, 64 gigs, and I should never need more than that. Let me just get rid of this stupid screensaver here while it's doing its thing. But the HP, I had no idea that it would go past 16 gigs. But it turned out it's got 32 in it now. So the 32 gigs that was in this is in that. Because they both computers use the same speed type of RAM, so it's not a big deal, right? Same RAM type, same everything. So that worked out to be a great benefit. So now I got two 8 gig sticks to part with, which were the original two 8s that came out of my Asus stuff. But yeah, this is interesting. This is not impressing me much, even for a 1 gigabit load on the PC side. This is not really impressing me. This is working just like a 3.2 bus, and that is a Thunderbolt port according to well, devices I've hooked up before, plus the spec states Thunderbolt port. And it's like, that's kind of interesting, because it sure isn't behaving as if it was. We did better on the Mac side. Let's get this to go to at least the main write test up top. And then I think we'll call that a quits on that one. Because that's definitely really not doing well there. Wonder if our device manager has anything useful to say. Connection managers. Host controller. Okay, well, I've run Thunderbolt stuff on there before without a problem. USB 3.2 extensible host controller. Okay, so, yeah. Because I have run Thunderbolt devices off that port. And they've worked fine, but it says here it's only 3.2. Unless the devices I was running actually can go backwards, but my specs say Thunderbolt. Well, whatever. That can explain the slow speed there. Okay, so let's stop these tests. Let's go to our C drive, because our C drive is Express 4. Actually, you know what? Let's just do this one here. Yeah, my Express 4 slot's working normal. Because it's 7,000 read-write drive. So, So I guess it's not actually a Thunderbolt port on my Asus TUF 17, yet the specs said it was. That's really interesting. Yeah, 6094, 6102. Yeah, so my other drives are working fine, but this one is just yeah, that's odd. Because the D drive, that's my dump drive. So I guess we don't actually have a Thunderbolt port on this thing. Yeah, D is my dump drive. That's internal. Because my C and D are my internals. This is the external here. That's interesting. Let's give us another shot. Well, all B. That is definitely interesting. Yeah, same thing. So it's going to be slow. Alright, what's the current health status of that drive anyways? 100% good. 45 degrees, so we don't need the heat stuff anyway. NVM Express, yeah. So, I don't know what happened on that one, but that's kind of weird, guys, because factory specs said that that was a Thunderbolt port. Then again, it does kind of make you wonder, because Asus did say that my laptop could only go to 32 gigs, and we've definitely got 64 gigs in here. And by the way, when you plug the power back in, just as a note from that other video, you're back up to chewing a pile of RAM once you plug power back in, because everything's running full bore again. So that error that we got for the video thing was because I was trying to run my NVIDIA card, and I just ignored it. So it doesn't want to run the NVIDIA. And the thing is actually running where I set it here when it's plugged into power. PCs really suck when they're on battery power. But what do you want there, right? Okay, so we want to go back to our Mac side again, and we're going to retest this drive just to make sure everything's good. And select target, 1 terabyte, open, and smack. Right side is 1317, 2758.1 read, 1445.4, 2788. So to me, this is actually running at basically this case is actually running at a Thunderbolt 3 speed, or PCI Express 3 to a certain point. I mean, it's still not quite popping 35 by 3000, but it's popping enough that it's way faster than what it was doing in that Sabrent 3.2 case. So, and now I have that case free for my other 0.5 terabyte drive, so I can put that back into this case, and I'll have my 0.5 terabyte back online in there. So, okay. Now, as far as the case goes, was it worth the 120 bucks? As long as you got a Thunderbolt port, it definitely is. It's going to do the job for you, which apparently we've discovered that our Asus TUF is not Thunderbolt. That's kind of odd, but whatever. Specs are specs. They don't always get it right, I guess. But this does say USB 4.0 NVMe M.2 SSD enclosure. Now, can we run a PCI Express 4.0 drive on this? I haven't got a clue, and I've got no way of testing that at this point because I don't have any spare drives. The only drive I have is sitting inside my PC, and I'm not ripping that out just for that experiment. So when I get some more money ahead, I'll buy one, because I'm kind of curious. Because if my math is correct, then if we do put an Express 4 capable NVMe into this case, then we should see probably more closer, I would say, to, well, we should get close to 4,000 on the read and probably about 2,000 write. Because still, I mean, you have to have a powered Thunderbolt case to be able to take full advantage of power amperage draws and stuff. Yeah, it is what it is, I guess. It does work backwards compatible to USB 3.2, apparently. I'm just kind of disappointed in my PC, because I thought for sure that was a Thunderbolt, because that's what the specs had said. But like I did say too, they also said that the thing only maxed at 32 gigs of RAM when we've obviously now got 64 gigs. So, you know, Asus isn't perfect, that's for sure. And I'll put that in my parts bin because I don't need that for anything right now. So that's good to go. Now, will this actually come up on my MaxFan speed control program, this drive? Yeah, no thanks. No, it just recognizes my internal Apple SSD. So, it doesn't recognize the Thunderbolt drive. Now, there's another thing, is system information. Let's find out. Thunderbolt and USB 4. Yeah, Thunderbolt is now occupied. USB 4.0 SSD, up to 40 gigabit speed. No device connected. So yeah, that verifies it is definitely a Thunderbolt 4 capable, USB 4. The mode is in Thunderbolt 3 currently, so that would probably be the limitation I would suspect of my Mac. So, and either way, it's up to 40. And Thunderbolt 4 is only up to 42 as well. At least that's what I've found for info. Could be wrong, but anyway, there we go. So we know that's all set up and working the way it should. So thanks for watching. As far as my idea on the case, I think it's worth 120 bucks. I mean, it is a metal case. It's, you know, it's got a little bit of weight to it, which is nice. I like the long cable they give us with it. Better than the short little thing that Sabrent gives you, which is useless. Well, it's not completely useless, I guess, but it's a little too short, that's for sure. That's at least long enough that, you know, I can stretch it around a little, so I'm good with that. Just remember, this case, by the way, has a limitation of only 2 terabyte size drive. It's not going to recognize anything bigger. At least that's what the specs say. But then again, what do we know about specs, guys? I mean, try a 4 terabyte. See if it works with 4. You know, can't hurt. You know, you're not going to hurt anything. But they do say 2 terabyte max capacity is what it can handle. So, whatever. Anyhow, not bad though. Good for the money. And this is Sunday, and it came guaranteed delivery for Sunday for this and my RAM from Amazon. And they're using a new shipper called Intercom something, anyways. But yeah, they work on Sunday, so I'm happy. But yeah, and if you haven't checked out the RAM upgrades on the HP 14-inch and my Asus stuff, go check those out. Yeah, stay tuned for more. This definitely is going to be staying on my Mac, and I'm definitely going to be looking more into what's going on with that port, because that was supposed to be Thunderbolt. And like I said, I've run Thunderbolt devices off of it before, unless the device I was running could go backwards and still run perfectly fine. I don't know. It's got me a little interested. Anyway, that's it. That's all. See ya.